coming-of-age drama helmed by the late, great John Singleton. Boyz in the Hood followed the lives of 3 childhood friends and the influence their environment had on them. We watched these characters grow and navigate divergent paths that young black men from different backgrounds within the same environment often took. And now, over 3 decades later, the cast that once portrayed those vibrant, vulnerable characters have aged into icons, warriors, and in some cases, solemn reminders of life's fragility. So, as we get back to the streets of South Central to check on how the cast of Boyz in the Hood has aged since, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more nostalgic trips. In the powerful narrative of Boyz in the Hood, one of the most resonant characters was Trey Styles. Portrayed by a 23-year-old Cuba Gooding Jr., Trey stood out as a deeply layered protagonist. Raised by his morally grounded father, Trey symbolized the internal tug of war between environment and intention, violence and vision, survival and self-worth. At a time when many films overlooked the character study of young black men, Trey was different. We saw him be thoughtful, observant, emotionally open, and grapple with masculinity, love, identity, and fear. Through Cuba's performance, the audience didn't just watch a character, they felt him. Trey wasn't just a boy growing up in the hood. He was every son trying to live with integrity in a world that didn't make it easy. Trey Styles, as a character, remains timeless. Boyz in the Hood marked Cuba Gooding Jr.'s breakout role, and the emotional authenticity he brought to Trey would launch him into stardom. Following the film, Cuba's career gained serious momentum with an Academy Award pit stop along the way. However, his journey wasn't without turbulence. As the years passed, Cuba's career faced a series of challenges. Some were professional, and others were along the lines of sexual misconduct. A fall from grace for a man once celebrated as one of Hollywood's most dynamic leading men. Today, Cuba Gooding Jr. is 57 years old and is trying to navigate a life of reflection, growth, and reinvention. Next up, we have the 10-year-old Trey, who was portrayed by an 11-year-old Desi Arnaz Hines II. After a school altercation, Trey's mother decides to send him to live with his father in South Central Los Angeles. This move exposed Trey to the challenges of his environment, including encounters with local gangs and the complexities of urban life. Hines's portrayal captures the innocence and resilience of a child navigating a turbulent world. After his initial success in Hollywood, Desi Arnaz's acting appearances became less frequent. He transitioned from acting to pursue a career in writing and directing. As of today, Desi Arnaz is 45 years old. He maintains a relatively private personal life, with limited public information available. His career trajectory reflects a shift from on-screen performances to behind-the-scenes contributions to the entertainment industry, highlighting his adaptability and passion for storytelling. Introduced as a tough, sharp-witted teenager shaped by the unforgiving streets of South Central Los Angeles, next up we have Doughboy. Portrayed with stunning authenticity by a 22-year-old O'Shea Jackson, Doughboy was the product of a world that never quite gave him a fair chance. A young man whose hardened demeanor masked a quiet grief and a constant battle between pride, pain, and purpose. Doughboy was more than a gang-affiliated kid. He was the heart of a larger truth. His character was a reflection of the people born into a cycle they didn't start, but are expected to survive. So when he stood alone at the end, mourning his brother and reflecting on how the world turns away from lives like theirs, he wasn't just speaking for himself. He was speaking for generations. Following Boyz in the Hood, Ice Cube's career took flight in both music and film. He released a series of critically acclaimed solo albums, continuing to challenge the status quo with lyrics that were unapologetically political, personal, and deadass out of pocket. At the same time, he began carving out a cinematic identity, writing, producing, and starring in films that ranged from gritty urban tales to mainstream family hits. As of April 2025, Ice Cube is 55 years old and is continuing to evolve as both an artist and a public figure. His versatility became his power, and he grew from a provocative voice in hip-hop into a full-fledged entertainment mogul. Portrayed by a 13-year-old Baja Jackson, up next, we have the 10-year-old Doughboy. Brave, tough, and with a personality so bold, it turned him into an icon with just under 10 minutes of screen time. Baja's Doughboy offered a glimpse into Doughboy's formative years, and a glimpse into the environment that shaped his future choices. Even in his younger years, we see the characteristics that made and broke Doughboy take shape and form. His loyalty and need to protect his brother had him ready to squabble with kids twice his size, exposing a sentimental side to one of the toughest 10-year-olds to ever be put to screen. Unfortunately, there's a duality to man, and although he wasn't one yet, Doughboy still had this duality in him. Following the result of a bad choice, Doughboy was enrolled in the penitentiary system at a young age, and although one of the results of his arrest was one of the hardest perp walks in cinematic history, it also started a chain of events in Doughboy's life that would ultimately end with a bullet. Following his role as young Doughboy, Baja Jackson's presence in the entertainment industry diminished as he did not pursue a prominent acting career. Consequently, there is limited public information regarding his personal life and professional endeavors post-film. But if the math checks out, Baja is currently 46 years old. Next up, we have Ricky Baker, a character whose tragic arc struck a deeply emotional chord that still haunts viewers to this day. Ricky, played by a 22-year-old Morris Chestnut, was the embodiment of aspiration. A talented high school athlete with dreams of a football scholarship to escape the vicious cycle of poverty and violence in South Central Los Angeles. Ricky represented the hope that so many young black men held close. Ricky's tragic fate was so sudden and senseless that it became the catalyst for the film's heart-wrenching examination of life's fragility. His future, full of possibility, was snatched away, leaving us with a powerful reminder of the dangers that exist for young black men in marginalized communities, and the realization that dreams can often be lost before they even get a chance to take flight. Following the film, Morris Chestnut's career grew and flourished. He continued to build on his success by taking on various roles ranging from morally upright men to downright toxic manipulators. But his portrayal of a young black man with dreams bigger than his smile marked a definitive moment in his career. As of today, Morris Chestnut is 56 years old and is continuing to stay active in the industry. His career continues to be marked by a deep commitment to his craft, and he remains a beloved and influential figure in both film and television that still captivates audiences, proving that the legacy of Ricky and the actor who portrayed him remains vital. Next up, we have the 10-year-old Ricky portrayed by an 11-year-old Donovan McCrae. Young, full of life and optimistic about his dreams, young Ricky represented the innocence and potential of the youth. This innocence, juxtaposed with the backdrop of the neighborhood's danger, underscored the film's poignant commentary on the impact of systemic violence on youth. Though we only see a brief glimpse of Ricky's youthful spirit, his character remains an essential part of the film's emotional and thematic core. Following his role as young Ricky, Donovan McCrae's appearances in film and television became less frequent. As of today, he is 45 years old. Next up, we have a character with a name so hardcore, it sounds like it comes with its own leather jacket and a .45 Magnum, Furious Styles. Portrayed by a 29-year-old Lawrence Fishburne, Furious was a character who emphasized the significance of parental guidance and community responsibility. Right when Trey was starting to become a man, his mother realized it was best for him to have his father in his life. So Furious Styles, a man with intellect, integrity, strength, and an ex-wife, was obliged to honor her wishes by raising Trey with tough love and compassion. He strived to instill in his son the importance of thinking for oneself and staying grounded because he understood the harsh realities of life. His speeches, especially the one about the importance of owning property and controlling one's destiny, became key moments in the film, illustrating the gap between the cycles of poverty and the potential for change. Furious wasn't just a father. He was a mentor trying to steer his son through the maze of systemic obstacles that awaited young black men. After the film, Lawrence Fishburne's career flourished. He went on to take on iconic roles and, most importantly, take on more cool character names such as Morpheus in The Matrix,
I am Morpheus.
Othello in Othello, and the Bowery King in John Wick.
Long live the king.
He's continued to shine both at the front and at the back of the camera, and is still a powerhouse in the industry today, at the ripe age of 63. He is continuing to build his legacy, working across film and television, and proving that Furious Styles was only the beginning of his profound influence on entertainment. Next up, we have Riva, a woman whose quiet strength and protective love for her son shaped much of his early life. Riva, portrayed by Angela Bassett, who was 33 years old at the time of the film's release, was depicted as a loving but ultimately overwhelmed parent who did her best to protect her son from the chaos of their surroundings. Her role, though less central in terms of screen time, is just as vital in illustrating the challenges faced by single mothers raising their children in violent, underserved communities. Her protective nature and concern for Trey's future, as well as his relationship with Furious, added a deeper layer to the family dynamic in the film. After Boyz and the Hood, Angela Bassett's career took flight, and she became one of the most respected actresses of her generation. She starred in powerful roles that allowed her to excel in the business. As of today, Angela Bassett is 66 years old and is continuing to thrive in her career. Her career is a testament to resilience, talent, and the power of portraying women who fight for what they believe in, no matter the odds. Next up, we have Brenda Baker, Ricky and Doughboy's mother, that was portrayed by a 29-year-old Tyra Farrell. As the mother of two very different sons, she played a significant role in portraying the complexity of family dynamics of the film. Brenda had a very complicated relationship with her children, particularly with Doughboy, where the tension between them was palpable. She tended to favor Ricky, which left Doughboy feeling neglected and hurt. But through all the chaos, Brenda's character shed light on the internal struggles and pain that existed within families living in such an environment. Her character wasn't just about playing the bad mom. It was a layered portrayal of how the cycle of split-up parents, poverty, and violence could impact how children turn out in their future. The way she interacted with her sons highlighted the difficulty of raising children in a world where survival often trumped emotional well-being. After Boyz n the Hood, Tyra's career continued to grow as she took on a range of roles that showcased her ability to handle complex, nuanced characters. Farrell's ability to portray strong, often conflicting characters made her a respected actress in Hollywood, and she continued to find roles that challenged her range and depth. As of today, Tyra is 63 years old and is still active in the industry. Whether if it's through dramatic roles on TV or impactful performances in film, Farrell remains a staple in the industry, proving that her Brenda Baker's complex portrayal was just one chapter in a long and continuing career. Next up, we have Brandy, Trey's love interest, who provided him with a glimpse of innocence and hope amidst the harsh environment around them. Brandy was portrayed by Nia Long, who was 20 years old when Boyz n the Hood was released. She represented the possibility of love and stability for Trey, offering a refreshing contrast to the violence and uncertainty of his world. Brandy was a young woman who, much like Trey, wanted to rise above the circumstances that surrounded her. Their budding relationship was tender, youthful, and provided moments of lightness in the film's otherwise heavy tone. Brandy's character served as a reminder of what the future could hold. Her presence in the film symbolized hope, and it's clear she played a pivotal role in encouraging Trey to see the world beyond the streets of South Central. Following Boyz n the Hood, Nia Long's career exploded, and she quickly became a household name by starring in a variety of beloved films. Today, she is 54 years old and is still thriving in her career. She is currently starring in several film and TV projects, continuing to show her versatility as an actress. Next up, we have Shanice, Ricky's girlfriend and the mother of their young son. Shanice, portrayed by Alicia Rogers, was around 16 years old at the time of the film's release. While her role was not as large as some of the others, Shanice was an essential part of Ricky's life. Shanice's presence in the film highlighted the challenges faced by young black couples trying to make something of themselves in the face of adversity. After Boyz n the Hood, Alicia Rogers' career continued, and she took on roles in both television and film. While her career didn't see the level of fame that some of her co-stars enjoyed, she remained an important figure in the industry during that time. As of April 2025, Alicia Rogers is 49 years old and is living a quieter life now, having moved away from acting. Next up, we have Shalika. Played by a 20-year-old Regina King, Shalika was fiery, direct, and didn't hesitate to stand up for herself when she needed to. In her brief but memorable scenes, Shalika showed she wasn't afraid to speak her mind even if nobody gave a shit about what she had to say. After Boyz n the Hood, Regina King's career exploded as she went on to become an acting powerhouse. She's won multiple awards, including an Oscar in 2018. As of today, she is 54 years old and is still lighting up the screen, continuing to dominate in film and television, and even making waves as a director. Next up, we have the pacifier-wielding baby-faced gangster, Dookie. Cedric D. Gobert was 19 years old when he took on the role of Dookie. With his ever-present pacifier and Jerry curl, Dookie stood as a quiet yet memorable figure in the film. Though he had few lines, Dookie's presence added depth to the portrayal of youth in South Central Los Angeles, highlighting the coping mechanisms adopted amidst the challenges of their environment. His constant pacifier became a symbol of the era and was noted for sparking a trend among teenagers in the early 1990s. But the pacifier wasn't just a character's accessory in Boyz in the Hood. It was a symbol representing the younger individuals influenced by the prevailing street culture. Following Boyz in the Hood, Gobert appeared in 2 other films directed by John Singleton, but the latter film he would star in would be released posthumously. Tragically, Gobert's life and burgeoning career were cut short when he was fatally shot on November 19, 1994, just days before his 23rd birthday. The incident occurred during a dispute at an illegal drag race in Mira Loma, California. Despite his brief career, Gobert's portrayal of Dookie left an indelible mark on cinema, capturing the complexities of youth in a turbulent environment. Next up, we have the heavy of the film, Ferris. He was portrayed by a 30-year-old Raymond D. Turner who brought a remorseless dominance to the character. A menacing gang leader affiliated with the rivals to Doughboy's gang, Ferris was essentially the driving force behind the tragic fate of Ricky, all in the name of retaliating against his rivals. As juvenile and heartless as it might sound, Ferris's way of thinking was just simply the outcome of generations of marginalizing a community to the point where they are forced to turn on each other in order to survive. Unfortunately, violence only begets violence, and all that grief and chaos he caused would eventually come back at him as the wrath of a man grieving his brother. Following his performance in Boyz in the Hood, Turner continued to build his acting career with versatile appearances in both film and television that contributed to a diverse portfolio. He maintained a relatively private life outside of his acting career until he tragically passed away in 2024 at the age of 63. Today, we remember him for his impactful performances and dedication to his craft. Rest in peace, Mr. Turner. Up next, we have 22-year-old Lloyd Avery's character, Knucklehead No. 2. Though we didn't get to hear his name or much about him, his brief scenes were so impactful that it's hard to ignore him. A shotgun-wielding killer with a cold demeanor, Lloyd was one of Ferris's accomplices in the fatal shooting of Ricky Baker. Despite the limited screen time, Avery's portrayal left a lasting impression that embodied the cold and remorseless nature of gang violence. His character's actions were pivotal in setting off a chain of events that underscore the film's themes of loss and the consequences of a life entangled in crime. Now early on in his life, Lloyd Avery II showed promise in academics and sports. However, after his role in Boyz in the Hood, almost something changed in him, and his life took a tumultuous turn. He became involved in criminal activities, including theft and assault, and was eventually convicted of a double homicide in 2001. Avery was sentenced to life in prison and tragically met his end at the hands of his cellie in 2005 at the age of 36. Avery's life story serves as a poignant reflection on the themes portrayed in Boyz in the Hood. His descent into the very lifestyle depicted in the film highlights the pervasive influence of environment and choices. Avery's brief but impactful role, coupled with his real-life trajectory, underscores the film's message about the devastating effects of violence and the importance of community intervention and support. Finally, we have Officer Coffee. Portrayed by a 50-year-old Jesse Lawrence Ferguson, Officer Coffee was an African-American LAPD officer who embodied the complexities of systemic racism and internalized oppression. His character was introduced during a burglary investigation at Furious Styles' home, where his dismissive attitude and derogatory remarks quickly highlighted his contempt for his own community. This was further exemplified when he later stopped Trey and Ricky and subjected Trey to a humiliating and threatening encounter. Coffee's actions served as a stark representation of how systemic racism can manifest within individuals tasked with upholding the law. Though his character has been parodied so much that it became a running gag, his role still manages to confront and scare viewers with the uncomfortable truth about how institutionalized racism can be perpetuated, even by those within the same racial group. After Boyz n the Hood, Ferguson continued to act in both film and television, however. His acting career would wound down by the mid-90s. Sadly, Ferguson passed away in 2019 at the age of 77. His portrayal of Officer Coffey continues to resonate because through this character, Ferguson contributed to a broader conversation about the systemic issues and the outcomes that Boyz n the Hood sought to address, leaving a lasting impact on audiences and the film industry alike. Rest in peace. So that's it for today. Take care of yourself till we meet again.